The Artesian Basin underlays about 1.7 million square kilometres of Australia. That's about a fifth of the continent. It comprises a whole stack of sediments laid down over millions of years. And those sediments are all different types: sandstones, siltstones, mudstones, all in layers. So they form a basin that's wrinkled, morphed a little bit, and then it's tilted a little bit so that on the eastern side it's a little bit higher than on the western side. Water gets in on the eastern side in the recharge zones, and that flows slowly through all of those different layers and eventually discharges as springs. The water in the Great Artesian Basin comes from rainfall, falling on the recharge zones all around the margins, and it just slowly percolates down through the sediments over millennia. The main recharge areas in the region around Narrabri for the GAB are the Warrumbungles to the south and from the Namoi River alluvium system to the north. The area around where the gas project is, in fact, is a very low recharge area. There are 4 sub-basins to the Great Artesian Basin, and they're isolated hydrogeologically, so the groundwater in one basin does not flow into any of the other basins. The Narrabri gas project is targeting waters underneath the GAB. They're not Great Artesian Basin waters, they're from the Gunnedah Basin beneath the Great Artesian Basin. And it's isolated from the GAB by some very fine-grained sediments which do not allow water to go up or down between those 2 basins. When the farmer's putting a bore down for water, he's drilling under the provisions of the Water Act. When a gas company is putting down almost exactly the same bore to get to gas, they're drilling under provisions of the Petroleum Act. And under that Act, they have much more strict and stringent requirements for the quality of that bore and the protection of all the rocks that it goes through. A gas company seals the top area with concrete, then put a separate seal down, pass through any of the groundwater sources and sealing that off with concrete as well, and then they put another tube down through the middle of that. So there's at least 3 levels of protection of any water supplies in the rocks that it's going through. A farmer's water would not be impacted by any of the drilling that goes through the Great Artesian Basin to get to the coal seam gas.